Hello, boys. Just give me a second. I didn't know I was. I want to go back to my prison. I realize what the saying "unknown devil" is better than an unknown angel means. Welcome, gentlemen, for a scintillating week of Premier League action.
Scintillating.
Scintillating
Okay.
is a good word.
A lot of interesting games. Arsenal, Spurs, Liverpool, and of course United playing a typical United ball at this point. It doesn't matter who the manager is. And City behaving a lot like United. We'll get into all of that. But we have two Arsenal boys in the house, which means, as usual, they seem to get the veto on which games that we are going to cover first. So, Crystal Palace versus Arsenal. BTG, take us away. Your quick recap of the game.
Yeah, bro. So it was a very fantastic watch for me. I enjoyed the game. This is proper entertainment football. None of that low block, mid block nonsense. This is proper football. I loved it. I mean, credit to Crystal Palace. They stuck to one system and they played very well for that system that they had. They pressed us hard, and we were actually taken unawares on a couple of times. We were caught unawares, but still we managed to pull through, and we put 5 in their net, and it's an amazing feeling, because my man Jesus has again scored another brace. I mean, I don't know whether it is too early to say sorry, because it was just last week that I wanted.
I feel Jesus has completed his season's tally of scoring goals.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think you owe him an apology. Lightning strikes only twice at the most.
He seems to hate Crystal Palace also.
Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all 5 goals against Crystal Palace. I mean, see, but the one thing my takeaway from this game is Jesus. He's high on confidence, and the way he's shooting, I mean, it signifies that he is pretty much, he's high on confidence and he's doing well. That's a good sign for Arsenal and good sign of things to come. And other than that, I am the most impressed with Martinelli, because again, Martinelli on the right wing is a revelation, proper revelation, because he's able to cross well, he's able to dribble, he's able to shoot, he's able to score, he's able to assist. I mean, I'm so pumped for this guy, man. My man Martinelli is back. So yeah, bro, it was a great.
So Jesus is back. I'm just taking notes of Jesus is back. Martinelli is back. I just want to know who all is back, so I can clip it and do. I will clip it. I will seriously clip it.
Okay. Yeah, we have already established that Anirudh will do that.
Yeah,
and he'll be back to his hate list 2 weeks later.
Yeah, I think it's a little too soon for me to say Jesus is back. He's a confidence player. So he scored 5 goals in the past week. This is more than he has scored in the past year, probably. Injuries have been, of course, bad, but he's kind of, lost his way a little bit. I'm cautiously optimistic. I think this performance with Crystal Palace for Jesus summed up Jesus perfectly, right? 2 really hard chances. He scored in 2 bangers, and then he had the opportunity to score 3 tap-ins, and he didn't score any of them. It's just perfectly encapsulate what a player Gabriel Jesus is.
He's such an enigma, bro. He's such an enigma.
I have to give him. I have to give him credit for stepping up in this game, because we needed him. My stock rising for this game actually is Declan Rice. He's not been at his best. He had a broken toe. He had a bunch of injuries, inconsistent stop-start. He came on the pitch in the second half and freaking changed the game, man. You could see exactly what we bought him for. Like power, energy, running power. So good, man. He scored a goal. He assisted a goal. He kept constantly, stealing the ball high up, which is a big strength of his. Yeah, he needs to please just continue his form, and he's been great. He was great last season. He's slowly finding his way back again after a bunch of injuries. So yeah, that's my stock rising. BTG, stocks falling for you?
Bro, stocks falling this week are... I don't see any stocks falling actually, bro, to be honest.
We should have flipped the question. when Arsenal is winning, BTG thinks they are the best team in the world and they can do no wrong. I should have asked the stocks
I
falling question to you and
oh
rising to him.
No, stocks
I have a
falling.
big stock falling.
Honestly, whose stock is falling? Maybe Trossard?
Yeah,
I don't know.
no, I think for me the stock falling is Saliba. He had a bit of a bad game. It's
Yo,
uncharacteristic bad game.
I'll tell you.
He
Yeah.
The typical level of control that he has and the assurance that he gives us in the back, that was missing, which is a hit or miss, because if we do that, we get basketball games in which we score a lot, but then we always have the threat of being scored on, which my anxiety driven mind hates. You said it was entertaining. Like we saw Liverpool Spurs being entertaining. Those are the sorts of games that I don't like. I want the games to be calm and controlled. So for me, Saliba is a bit of a stock falling. Again, stock falling doesn't mean they're a bad player. It just means that before this game and after this game, what was their performance during that game? So it's a dip. So yeah,
Yeah.
Saliba was definitely, he'll be back. Everyone has an off day, but that was my
Actually,
stock falling for the game.
Yeah, actually, no, bro. The thing I wanted to add here is like every player is entitled to, I mean, every good footballer is entitled to one or two almighty stinkers for a season. And Saliba is done with his two almighty stinkers for this season, one against Bournemouth and one against Crystal Palace.
So it looks like he gave his juice to Jesus, basically, for the last couple of weeks.
Very much
I'll take
possible.
it.
It will all come back to things.
think-
Normal service will resume after Christmas. With
Oh.
that, let's move on to the other game. United against Anirudh's Bournemouth. Anirudh's second club, Bournemouth.
I also will stand Bournemouth here, and I'll recap the game. I'm a huge fan of Iraola. The job he's done is fantastic at Bournemouth. They have some really good players. United honestly did stand a chance in this game. And I kept thinking that, they beat City, and, United fans were really happy about it. But City are having a stinker of a season. They're not good. So winning against City, in my opinion, wasn't the high. I mean, it's a high point in that moment, but in the context of the season, it's probably not that great. So the game was, United had their moments, but I felt like Bournemouth pretty much controlled the game. Overall, Bournemouth, they've been underperforming their XG this season. They should actually have way more goals than they have, and they have a ton of goals. So it was a great performance. My stock's rising. Semenyo, what a player, man. I mean, I think he is going to get a big move soon. I know there's a lot of people in the Arsenal Twitter who want Semenyo. I don't know about whether that will happen in January or not, but with Saka's injury, who knows? But he was so good. And the other one is Evan Nielsen. That guy is destined for the top. He is so good at carrying the ball, protecting the ball. Yeah, I mean, kudos to the Bournemouth squad. A lot of these teams that come up after relegation, they come up and they immediately go down. Bournemouth have stuck around. They've got a good coach. They've been patient. They had a really bad run of games at the beginning when Iraola just came in, but now he's been fantastic. They've had the good scalps. Like they beat Arsenal, they beat City. I think they beat Spurs and now United. So yeah, it's always exciting to see these non-Big Six clubs perform well. It makes the league better. Overall, it makes for a better product. Stocks falling. United, I mean, I don't know where to begin. They've been so terrible. And Amorim pointed out the problems, but, it's just, I can't give it to one person. The whole squad dropped a stinker. What are they expecting? And even with this, Mainu is a really good player. What are they expecting it with, to putting him, he found himself behind Ugarte a lot of times. And, he's not going to make things happen. And now I think they found Ahmad a few weeks ago. They are trying to get the ball to him and hoping he makes magic happen. That's not a sustainable way of winning a game. That's the Salah strategy. But Salah is Salah, right? Yeah, if he doesn't have a team around him, he's going to drop us. He's not going to be able to perform to the best level. So, yeah, that's my summary of the game. United, they will be. I think if they win if they finish in the top half, they should consider it a good season.
Yeah, they're also on the bottom half of the table for the first time
Oh, there are
since.
so many clips here, bro. So many clips that can be, revisited after the mid-season. So many clips. I think BTG is given some, Rohit is given some. But I seriously think this is what United's done. United's added corner packs on top of, cutbacks. They can't defend cutbacks. They can't defend corners. They can't defend free kicks. And they're just adding on to the things that they can't do. I don't know what they can do at the moment.
Apparently, they also can't defend mice infestation at the.
Oh, did you see that thing where Amorim was at a press conference
In the
and there was a
middle of press
leak
conference,
in the
yeah.
press
Yeah.
conference?
It's a
Oh, that
very
sums it up.
I know it's two mice jokes is one too many, but I have to get this one out of the way as well, especially for our beloved Casemiro. Until a few moments ago, I thought the only rats in United were on the pitch and in the left wing. Hey, oh.
No, and also in the left gate. Also in the left gate.
Last thing on Bournemouth, and again, I can't stop singing their praises enough. I do want to call out their set pieces. Arsenal, they are known as set piece FC. Fine, Bournemouth have been incredible. They scored a set piece against Arsenal. That's they identified a weak point in Arsenal's set piece defending. They exploited it at their game earlier. Like flick-ons from the front post are where Arsenal are kind of shaky at defending. So yeah, fantastic stuff by Bournemouth. I mean, just excited to see them take points off Liverpool at some point. We'll see.
Thanks.
No, the thing about Bournemouth, no, bro. See, I mean, the thing about Bournemouth is they are actually thriving in the chaos that they are creating. And Ireola is playing. I mean, from what I observe, no, Ireola is playing a system very similar to what Klopp used to do at Liverpool. I mean, he's counter pressing like hell, and he's making them run their socks off. And based on that chaos that they're creating, no, the opposite team tend to kind of get thrifty, and I mean not thrifty. Sorry, they kind of tend to get a little bit what do you call disturbed, and they kind of lose the ball. And then Bournemouth carry the ball, and they start scoring goals, they start creating chances, they start putting pressure. So I mean, it's working out well for Bournemouth. And I mean, I'll be very honest, Ireola was underestimated a lot last season, and this season he's showing his worth. Come on, he's fifth and he's placed above City in the Premier League table. So hats off to him, hats off to the work he has done.
Yeah, they really need to start testing the water in Basque Country, because Arteta, Xabi Alonso, Ireola, they all grew up close to each other around the same age. They're both doing great jobs at their clubs. So yeah, there's something in the water there.
City as in Leicester City?
Sorry?
City as in Leicester City or Manchester City? Which city? Both?
I think at some point we have to stop talking about Manchester City. Because we generally cover only big clubs and Newcastle United because Aja comes on the stream.
Newcastle is not a big club. Okay, clip it. Send it to Ajay.
I stand by it. I can say it to his face. But unfortunately, given City's recent success means we have to cover the game. Again, credit where due. Anirudh, you came on Game Week 11. We actually put out a clip.
Was called a wild take at the moment. It's no more a wild take.
Yeah, exactly. So you took a gamble, you stood your ground, and looks like you got paid off big time because of...
No. I've been paying only getting paid 6 weeks. I need to be paying for another 20 weeks.
You should see my face in that clip where I'm like, okay, I'm a little skeptical about this take. I won't be so quick to judge City, but I was totally wrong. I'll give it to Anirudh. I think you got it spot on.
And Sri Karthik as well. I know he hasn't been talking in the stream, but he has also apparently the news is he has been very critical of City's transfer strategy for a very long time now, and he is also somebody who is finally getting his flowers for being ahead of the curve.
No, see, my agenda started with that Grealish window where they, they just they bought Grealish for 100 million, and just because they won the treble, they started making people believe that he was a success. But we all know what the truth was, and I feel like they're just paying for what for the past 3 minutes, past 3 years. So, and I still think Anirudh's take is a wild take because I feel like there are more teams than Manchester City uh, in the Premier League. So that I just feel like second of the season they'll just buy someone in January and they'll come up that table. That's what I believe. But like my agenda is totally on the City's transfer business and how just because you win doesn't. I always believe like success will only mark your mistakes rather than fix it. It won't. It just hides your mistakes. It won't fix the mistakes. And I feel like they're just reaping whatever they saw for the past 3 years.
I see. The thing is, I'm talking about City only as a mid-table club this season because of their injury crisis and how rattled Pep is. I've never seen Pep this rattled, and I've never seen. I've never seen him rush players back. I've never seen him do most of the things that he has done this season. So I don't like how Pep is being reacted this season. I don't like how he's reacting to every loss, and he's giving us content as a content after each week. Each week I'm just getting a clip or a gif out of every game, so it's I'm so happy.
Stay humble, bro.
Yeah.
Stay humble.
Yeah. I think
Right.
I do have to give it to Villa. They are pretty tough to play at home generally. So they've done a good job, and I think their recruitment of John Duran, man, that guy, where did he come from?
Bro, I
Somehow,
just
like
want
he
to say
scores
one
all
thing.
these bangers.
I just want to say one thing. Not everyone can get 3 points at Villa Park,
That is true. That is true.
And also keep a
It
clean
is.
sheet.
It is. Yeah, it's generally a hard place to go away to. I mean, last season, like a lot. I think City got a win over
City
there,
got
but
thrashed
there was
1-0.
something.
City got thrashed
Yeah,
1-0.
I
They got
mean,
an ass
they
kicking
got
1-0.
beaten 1-0. I mean, a 1-0 is not a thrashing, but okay,
No.
I'll take it. Point
I mean,
taken.
it was a 1-0 ass kicking. So many chances. I mean, Villa could have scored 6-7 that day last year.
Yeah, I mean,
And City
they
on
are.
target that much.
All right, I'm gonna pull the discussion back to the present, an inevitable time machine.
Yes.
Swap the
Right.
all
So
BTG to start
coming
now.
back, like Villa are a tough team to play. Other teams are going to drop points there. So I am actually very glad that Arsenal got their 2 points, but 3 points. But it's a hard place to play. And John Duran is great. Emery is Emery. I mean, he will. I think his biggest problem is inconsistency. That's the only thing. Villa have got a good squad. I think they'll always fall short of title-winning squad. So they need to think about what they do in the summer. But so far, I think if their ambition is top four, be in the Champions League, get some wins, I think they're pretty much fulfilling it.
Yeah.
I want to say one thing, bro. Just one thing, one last thing. Emery is the Virender Sehwag of football managers.
I will leave it at that and not ask you to elaborate.
Yeah, please. Because Emery has won a few titles. It's a
Sehwag
baffling.
also won the World Cup. Sehwag
Not
also
a-
won the World Cup.
Not as a coach. Moving on. He's getting timelines mixed up with our cricket podcast. Sorry. All right. For the moment that we are all here, Spurs versus Liverpool, we had to beg and plead and move our recording time just so we can have Sri Karthik give us a recap of Spurs Liverpool match. Go for it, Sri.
I guess I am not entertained. That's what I wanted to ask. So I guess
It's
this
not
is the
about
best.
Karthik, before you talk about the game, I just want you to talk about what is happening with Ange.
What is happening with Nancy? If I start talking about it, I think the episode the episode will just go for like 2 hours.
Yeah. Why
I just
don't
want
you
to
start off with a recap of the game? Then you can tie into bigger problems.
see, I have always said when because of the injury issues we have, we can't play 2 games in a week. Okay, so if we have 2 games in a week, we just focus on one game, win that, and lose the other one. Like not just lose, what happened yesterday. It's like that. So
How are you a
that's
top club?
see that's a different question. I don't want to answer that. But see, the problem with this is obviously we are massively depleted with our squad and with the way Ange wants to play. Unless we have some Chelsea level 45 man squad, we can't play like the same game every two games in a week. So that was the issue, and obviously we cashed our win against the United for Carabao Cup for me, which I wanted that more because we keep saying I wanted to win that Carabao Cup. So as soon as we won the Manchester United game, I know like we are gonna lose against Liverpool. So against Liverpool, see, with the way Hans plays, stylistically, Liverpool are the worst opponents because I just don't want to go into the tactical side of things much, but we defend very narrow and Liverpool's strength is their wide players. So it won't match. Like, it's just you are just throwing oil, like, into the fire. So that's what happened yesterday. And, like, I'm glad we didn't lose our heads at 5-1 and, like, it could have been 10-1, 11-1. Yesterday, like, both teams could have scored how many goals they had won. That's how it was. They could have scored, like, some 15 or something like that. And we could have scored, like, some 5 to 6 goals. I'm glad, like, we didn't lose our heads and, try to gain some sort of momentum, like, the game into 5-3. But after that, again, like, yesterday, what I felt was, like, I always criticize Ange. See, I like managers who stick to his principles. I like those stubborn managers. But the point is, I at least want them to adapt their principles only for these big games, like City, Liverpool, where their systems are so, like, great that whatever you do, you can't, like, you can't just win with your own game. You have to tweak something. That's how you win those big games. But the problem with Ange is he's not ready to do that yet, or I don't think he'll ever change. So yeah, unless he changes something, I don't think. I think this is what is going to happen in the big matches.
All right, who's your pick for a stock falling in Spurs?
Top falling.
Spurs.
Obviously, it's I'll say Pedro Porro because he has been not playing well for almost like 6 to 7 weeks now. So, yeah, Pedro Porro.
I know a lot of us have the same pick for stocks rising. Rohit,
Yeah,
do you want?
it's Kulusevski, right?
Of course.
No,
Yeah.
actually, my stock rising, incredible as it is, Salah. Like that guy's incredible, man. 15 goals in the first, like before the end of the year. Nobody's ever done it. I think if there is someone who's going to break Henry's record of goals and assists in a season, it's going to be Salah, and it's this season. If he stays fit till the end of the season, he's going to set a record that's not going to be broken for a very long time.
And there is no shame in losing that record to someone like Salah.
No, I'm a huge Salah fan. I mean, I have no problems with it. He's like, all-timer. So for me, Salah was a huge stock rising. I have a question for you, Karthik. Is Ange, at what point does Ange need to get a little bit more pragmatic about his approach? I know like the whole like Spurs is like, to dare is to do and we play attacking football. And
Yeah,
stuff.
also,
Like, at what point?
Before
Rohit
Karthik answers, before
he actually
Karthik
came out
answers-
and said, hey, I'm not going to tweak the way I'm playing. I just wanted to add that too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what I was also wanting. Before Karthik answers it, if at any point Anne changes his philosophy, I think he needs to go.
But at what point does the Spurs have hired a lot of coaches, right? They've
Because
always
Spurs are
had
Spurs are in no position to play defense. They can only play offense, and if offense wins them a trophy, it's great.
right. So okay, let me rephrase it this way. What needs to change for Spurs to kind of like fall out of this, like inconsistent, we'll be like fifth one season and then the next season will be 11th. How do Spurs do their recruitment or on the coaching side to consistently put like a team that gets top 6 every season for the next 10 years?
Just trust a manager, put an investment. That's what I think Karthik will say.
Yeah. See, the most what to say, the option which I want is to change the owner, but that is not going to happen. Okay, so then it's about and like yesterday we spoke about how Ange needs to get a coach where like Arne Slot where he hired someone called Heitinga, I guess, for the defensive OOP approach. So I guess Ange needs to get someone like that in order to focus on that. I think Ange can just coach. I don't from the recruitment side of things, Levy is always going to end up throwing something one way or the other. There's a ceiling for us for our club. There's a ceiling, and that ceiling is determined by Daniel Levy. So we can't do much beyond that. So unless Ange changes his approach at least in the big games. For against the mid table teams or the lower like bottom of teams, I don't want him to change this philosophy. I think we can outscore teams. I still believe that. But against this big opposition, he needs to change his approach, or else it will be very tough. Yeah.
Yeah, I think with Liverpool especially, like Liverpool thrive on a basketball game because they have like the killers up top that can just like
They're
completely
just
run
more
riot.
clinical because they have Salah and sometimes
Yeah, I mean
Shabba
there are so many all-timers on that team, right? So if you are playing a game of basketball against any team, Spurs are a very tough team to be in that play in that situation. Like if any other team comes up against Spurs and they make it a basketball game, Spurs will probably come up on top. But then if they do it against Liverpool, they're not going to win.
I think it's more about the more than the basketball game yesterday. I felt like we couldn't match their intensity with the way they played. They started like a house on fire. Like we couldn't match their intensity even like 1 minute. As soon as the game in 10 minutes, I was like just praying just let this be like a humble score like some 4-3 or something like that, so that we can return home. That's how I felt. I mean the way they are playing, it's honestly scary for the other teams.
I mean, that says because he was happy with that 6-3. If I'm not wrong. And he was happy that the way that it was ended with 5-1 and 6-3.
Yeah, 6-3 is actually sounding like a respectable scoreline for somebody who didn't watch the game. And like Sri said, it should have been a lot worse, right? Spurs never looked like they were in the game. And again, like Sri said, if we are going to dissect Spurs and their inconsistencies, we should dedicate like the whole podcast to it. Let's move on to our last leg of the discussion. Only one game that we haven't covered, and for good reason, because we wanted to make that the big discussion for the week. Everton with X notes, title contenders, Chelsea.
We are not title contenders. We're just here to avoid relegation, bro. That's the reality of it. No, but seriously, the thing is, that the gimmick of title contention and everything else, I seriously think everyone misreads it. As if you are a title contender, you need to win. That is one of the things that I need to, reassure that everyone, if you are in a title contention, if it's a two-way of battle, you don't always end up coming on top. And with Chelsea fans, especially, every title race they've been in, they've won the title race. That's why they are extremely cautious of wanting to know whether they are in a title race or not. We've never been in a position where we've come from back and won a title.
That's true.
So we know. So we know for a fact that when we are behind, if we can't expect teams to drop points, if we drop points, we lose the title. That's one of the reasons why most of the Chelsea fans never accept. So if let's say Chelsea was in the same state as Liverpool, and everyone would have said, yeah, this is a different thing, we would have definitely going to win the title. That's the same thing which happened with Conte. So that's one of the reasons why I think Chelsea fans even they are very unanimous. You ask any Chelsea fan who have a different take on each player, they will say we are not in a title battle. We are not in a title contention. That's, I think, one of the reasons why. But the other genuine reason why I think Chelsea are doing this gimmick is to make sure, everyone knows that Chelsea might won't win the title. And they just want to drag the name and make sure, you guys were title contenders, now you bottled it. That's one of the other conversation they want to bring. So I feel that's one of the reasons why they want to drag Chelsea in the title contention and make sure, you've bottled it. We've already gotten the name of £1 billion bottle jobs. It's not going to be new. So if you're named as £1 billion bottle jars, might as well be a mid-table club and avoid relegation. First, the thing is to do that. So we are just on course to avoid relegation.
Yeah,
Okay, bro.
I think my question about this is I actually it's more of a comment. I feel like Chelsea have been flying high mainly because teams are not taking them as seriously. Now they are. And you'll see more and more in the second half of the season, people set up like Sean Dyche. I mean, he's the master of the low block. He's a really good coach, no matter what.
The thing is, I just read some tweet, random tweet is the most common result in Everton is a draw. It's not even a loss.
I totally agree. It's not that easy to score against them. I mean, we found out last week. You found out this week. Other teams are going to find that out.
this genuine week, I understand why Klopp was saying like it's very windy on turf Everton. It was damn windy. It was raining for the 15-20 minutes, and I now take back like what I said 2 years back. I basically blasted on Klopp saying you can't blame weather, you can't blame grass, you can't blame lights. I am blaming everything this single game. And we've just got a tweet from VAR saying that whatever tackle on Gusto must have been a penalty, and we didn't get a penalty. But yeah, that's a different conversation. But yeah, the whole game itself was a dud. Jackson sometimes has an extremely good game, and this game, I think, and then early we should have capitalized, is what most of the people are saying. And he missed a game where he tapped in. I could have changed the whole dimension of the talk, whatever I had now. But again, I would happily take a top 2 or a top 3 finish, and we are on course to do that. So
yeah. All right.
My last talk rising. Daish's Brexit ball is back. Freaking love it.
Yeah.
He's the master of it.
And guess who they are playing next? Manchester City.
Wow. Poetic. I'm gonna sum up the chat with throwing out the table at you before we break for Christmas. Liverpool, with a game in hand, 4 points clear at the top, 39 points from 16. Again, I have to refresh to see if this is the right table, because it's Chelsea. Number 2, 17 matches and 35 points, and Arsenal at 3 with 33 points. Look at us. Who would have thought, huh? Look at us. Well,
Actually,
good job.
For us,
Keep
it's
going.
still on, bro. For
Keep
us,
going.
it's
Who's
still
fourth?
No,
Ah,
no, don't say 4. Don't say 4. Just say who is on the second of, 11, 12, 13. They say that. I just want to know who's on the
So it's Nottingham Forest, Bournemouth, Aston Villa, and at 7, Tala for a reason, Manchester City, and Newcastle at 8.
No. You should actually pay. Manchester City are doing their best tribute to Cristiano Ronaldo for not joining their club.
And they're also going to play in the Conference League next season. So, yeah, sums it up pretty well.
I would still hold off on that comment. Didn't come from me. See, this is why Arsenal fans, when you lose, people say you get what you deserve. It's for comments like this.
Man,
Anyway,
BTG is like the quintessential Twitter Arsenal fan.
I know.
Like the kind of Arsenal fan that makes me cringe when I go to Twitter. This is why I deactivate Twitter periodically.
I'm loving what I'm seeing right now. So, it's cathartic, it's therapeutic. I'm enjoying life right now.
I think
Anyway,
I've been
so
around the
you
block
have-
too many times. So
You have City at 7, Newcastle at 8, and then Fulham, Brighton, and Tottenham at 11. Brentford at 12, and number 13.
We've never gone. So we just have to mention the names of United to get traction. So we had to go all the way to 13 to get some traction.
I also had to click on see more because it wouldn't load.
No, and the best thing about this is Amorim has been in charge for 9 games for Manchester United, and he started at 13th. After 9 games, he has successfully stayed at 13th. That is the best thing about
Stability.
Amorim.
they bought Amorim for stability.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll catch up in another edition of the CEO
Yeah.
Football Review.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.